Hey there everybody, it is Big Dave, and I had a client send me a slim Xbox 360 that is getting a red ring of death error. This is it right here. So I'm just going to hook up the HDMI, the power cable over here, get my TV turned on, and I'm going to test it and we'll see what we get. Alright, so yep, there we go, we have a red light. And so I'm going to go ahead and get the error code here, 0011. So that error code means it's a thermal overload error. So the system is overheating, or at least thinks it's overheating very rapidly as soon as I try to boot it up. So the first thing I always do in dealing with thermals on an Xbox 360, or really any system, is just to take it apart and clean it out as best as possible. Also replace all the old thermal paste, just so we can get good conductivity between the processor and the heatsink and cooling fan. As you can see here, just opening up a little, we can see tons of dust. So I'm going to get out my vacuum and vacuum all that stuff up. Then I'm going to keep tearing down the system. We're going to take it apart completely, just to make sure everything is clean and dust free by the end. So you can see here the disk drive's covered in dust, the fan and the fan shroud are all covered in dust. This is a very dirty system. So we get our first look at the board here, and there are tons of dust balls everywhere. So I'm just going to take this thing apart and clean every component as I take it out. And here underneath the heatsink, you can see how much dust is caked in between the fins of that heatsink and on the bottom. It's super gross, and it is not doing this processor any favors at all. It's actually kind of satisfying to clean a system that's really dirty like this, and you can see how awful it is, and then how it ultimately progresses to look like this. This is what we want to see, a nice, shiny, clean motherboard. Now I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of all this old, dried up, crusty thermal paste, and we're going to clean up the bottom of the heatsink as well. I'm going to wipe out this fan completely to make sure it's nice and clean, then put new thermal paste on the processor and get this heatsink back in place. So I've got this back together enough to test. I've got my tester RF board on the front here. Let's get it plugged in and turn on and see what we get. Tries to boot and immediate red light again. So that's not what we want, but that's okay. We have one more thing we can check. So there's some little components over here that can actually go bad and make the system think it's overheating when it's actually not. The components are R4D3 through R4D8. They're all in a row right next to the heatsink. We want all of these to actually have continuity. And as I'm testing these, I'm seeing that the second one down, which is R4D7, does not have continuity. And it's supposed to. All the other ones have continuity straight through, but this one up here, which I'm testing again right now, is offering resistance, which it should not do. So one easy way to take care of these is just to remove the bad component. And sorry, I don't have a good camera angle here for this kind of close-up work, but I'm just bridging the two pads where the component used to be, and I've got a close-up picture of my bridge here. It's got a little tail on it, just ignore that. But now that we've got those points taken care of, let's see if we can boot up now. So we have a regular green power light, and there's our ring of light. So that's what the problem was. We had a little blown component. Those things are there to detect overheating, but if one of them goes bad, it'll make your system think that it's overheating all the time, even when it's not. So you need to either replace it or just bridge the points like I did. Anyway, if you like this video, be sure to like and subscribe. I am Big Dave, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.